taking the comfort out of comfort food. Yes, one of the biggest challenges that I face with the treatment for targeted PRRT therapy is the impact on my taste buds. Quite literally, nothing tastes the same anymore. Just imagine that all of your favorite comfort foods that you used to love and enjoy, and now every time you take a bite of it, it brings you no comfort. It tastes very little like what it did before, and a lot of times you won't even like it anymore. I think if God was testing me in this area, and I think He is, this is probably the biggest test I could have ever received, because prior to getting sick, I would consider myself somewhat of a foodie. Not fancy food, but just wide varieties and different types and large quantities. And now I have very little appetite. Nothing tastes the same. And because I like the wide variety of foods, there's not a lot of new foods to try that I can rediscover. I know this might sound like a, first world problem, but I think anybody who finds comfort in food of, something that they remember from their childhood, or, something that helped them remember a celebration, or anything like that, and going back to it and just being totally different and no longer bringing you any comfort or joy, it's for me a bit heartbreaking almost. Yesterday I was eating a hamburger, and I know I probably shouldn't be eating a hamburger, but I think my doctors say eat whatever you want, because malnutrition is worse than getting the calories that you need. So I know I love this burger. It's my favorite burger in Bangkok. And I love French fries too. And I usually drench it with ketchup and enjoy it immensely. I take a bite and no, it doesn't taste the same. Flavors are muted. It feels like I'm just chewing textures of gristle and fat. And the French fries have this weird taste to it that doesn't even taste like French fries anymore. And something about ketchup just doesn't sit with me anymore. And I was just sitting there just, almost slightly depressed. It's just like, I know I love this. I know it's supposed to be delicious, but it is no longer that way. And yeah, I was just thinking about that yesterday, and how much I look forward to when I won't have to have any of these treatments anymore, and my taste buds gradually return, and I'll be able to enjoy food again. But probably not the same way that I enjoyed it before. I need to be a bit more healthy, but I definitely look forward to the day where food tastes comforting again. In terms of my health, I'm still able to sleep better at night now with the painkillers, and so I'm going to continue to take those, probably 1 or 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. Because the pressure is definitely still there, because when the painkillers are, the impact of the painkillers starts to decline a little bit, I can still feel it. Although it's less. With the diuretic, I think the fluid that was trapped in my lungs and probably my abdominal cavity, and probably other places as well, has created more room, so it doesn't hurt as much. But when I looked at my weight, the change in weight was probably close to 2 to 3 kilos. So it feels like there was a lot of water, and now that it's gone, I think, number one, I think I've lost more weight than I probably should have, and number two, I wonder, how come it didn't look like more water when they were doing the scans. But anyhow, I do feel better. I can sleep better at night. I'm going to continue the diuretic, and it's helping with a lot, actually. I think even with digestion, especially with digestion, actually, with the added space, I don't feel the bloating as much, and I'm able to, I guess, when I do have bowel movements, they're more regular. So I think the water occupying space that it shouldn't was definitely impacting a lot in the digestion area. As I mentioned earlier, that my taste buds are still pretty out of whack. I can still eat, so don't have much appetite, but I can still eat. So I just need to focus on, food is medicine and getting the nutritional benefit out of it rather than the comfort. So yeah, in terms of next steps, today is the tumor board. So the oncologists of the hospital will be getting together to review my case, to look at all of the past information and data to decide on next steps. Whether I will go into a controlled period, or whether or not I'll have to switch to a different modality of treatment to shrink my liver. At this point, the pain is pretty well controlled with painkillers, but I also don't want to take painkillers for a very long time, because I just don't want to. I'm not sure if it's good for me or bad for me. It's probably bad for me, but I definitely don't want to do it as well. So we'll see what comes out of that once we get more information and data. On January 13th, I'll be going through the final round of PRRT targeted therapy, where they'll be using a radionucleotide isotope to be able to inject radiation into the cancer cells in my body. The targeted therapy is a systematic therapy, which means it hits all of the cancer cells in my entire body, which is why we use it to be able to control spread, which, currently the tumors are only in my pancreas and liver and still have not spread anywhere else, which is good. And no new lesions as indicated by the MRI, and more cell death or cancer cell death as indicated by the MRI, and reduced uptake of radiation because there's fewer cells to kill. So yeah, once we find out more information, we'll be able to update everybody on next steps in the future. But still fighting hard every day to choose joy. Thank you very much for all the comments and words of encouragement. I definitely appreciate it. And for all the new people that have joined the community, thank you very much for joining, and I'm glad that you're here. If you find this video interesting and you want to help support the channel, please like, subscribe, or share. And I've also included a pinned comment with links to other reflections where I talk about things that I've learned throughout this process. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.